the money, the 500 million for a new headquarters that they really didn't have to spend, and then you're talking about $100,000 somewhere in that ballpark for parking. They could easily come up with the money. It's just their priorities are steered along with their math numbers. They have, $500 million for penthouse views, but not enough to pay train crews.
Hey, this is Ashley.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup on the ground.
In Philadelphia.
Flint, Michigan. East Palestine, Ohio.
Please support the leading independent media.
On the ground, covering what the corporate media covers up.
Hey, it's Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. The New Jersey transit workers' strike came to an end on Sunday after the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen reached a tentative agreement with New Jersey Transit. The 3-day-long strike was the first at New Jersey Transit in 42 years. On Friday morning, I went out and spoke with striking New Jersey Transit workers at Penn Station in Manhattan, as well as in Hoboken and Newark. And what I heard from workers was that the main issue was pay parity with other locomotive engineers. So I am Ashley with Status Coup News. I am out here in front of Penn Station, where New Jersey Transit workers with the International Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers are out on strike today. So I'm speaking with Chessie Edwards about why he's out here. So why are you out here today? Why have you guys decided to go on strike?
Okay, we're out here today because we were not able to get a fair deal with New Jersey Transit. As a result of that, we were locked out, and now we're here.
So can you tell me a little bit more about what happened in the negotiations? How much money were you guys asking for, and details like that, if you can share?
Well, I don't know much about the details. I'm just going by what my general chairman told us to do. But I don't really know the specifics of the deal. But I just know all what we were asking for was just a fair and parity deal, just a fair deal, and we weren't able to get that established. And because of that, we now have to strike. And this is something we didn't really want to do because we take pride in what we do. Taking hundreds of commuters, to and from university to New York every day.
Absolutely. And, I've seen a lot of people, making comments, as they do with anyone who goes on strike, that, the move is selfish or it's going to affect small businesses and all of that. And as you're saying, it's not, the decision to go on strike is not something that you guys take lightly, and that comes at a cost to you workers. So I guess how would you respond to people who would say that, you should just take what you can get and keep working?
Well, I mean, this is affecting everybody, because we're out there, we're not working, so we too are being affected, and again, it's not something we want to do, and we've gone 6 years without a deal, and when we compare what the other railroads are making, Amtrak and whatnot, and compare what we're making, it's no real comparison, and because of that, our being representative, figure, it's about time we get a fair deal, and so that's what we were asking for.
So one engineer told me that they can be working across the platform from workers who do the same job as they do, but make around $20 an hour more than they do. Again, so for the same job that they can actually see them doing across the train platform. According to workers, the amount of money that the union was asking for in their new contract that would have brought New Jersey Transit workers at least within the ballpark of what other engineers make for, again, the same job was $4 million. It just so happens that $4 million is also the same amount of money it would have cost New Jersey Transit to run contingency travel plans the following Monday. So one day while the workers were out on strike. So New Jersey Transit would rather have spent an additional $4 million on one day of operations while the workers were on strike, and would have spent that much for every single additional day that workers were on strike if they had not reached a tentative agreement, then give that same amount just one time, to their workers who run their operations. We're in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I'm out here trying to talk to people in Hoboken about why they're on strike. So, Tom, why are you guys on strike today?
So the simple issue is for us is wages. For over 5 years, we've been trying to negotiate with New Jersey Transit to get a fair and equitable wage for the locomotive engineers at New Jersey Transit. We're paid almost 20% less than the locomotive engineers at all the other commuter and passenger railroads in our area: Long Island Railroad, Metro North, Amtrak, and PATH.
And that's what I heard from your colleagues over in New York Penn Station, that you guys are really just trying to increase your wages so that you are in the ballpark of what other people who do the same job as you actually do. And someone had said, like, they stand across the tracks from people who do the same job but get paid like $20 an hour more.
And that's exactly it. And so that is part of the reason why New Jersey Transit's seeing a loss, a drain of engineers, because they can leave New Jersey Transit, go to work in literally the same place in New York Penn Station, simply walking across the platform and instantly getting a $10 an hour raise. So the difference between our proposal and New Jersey Transit's is $4 million a year. Like you say, that's the cost of 1 day of their contingency plan. Now, I will say New Jersey Transit likes to use this enormous figure of how much it would cost, and they have to give this raise to every other organization on the railroad, and that's simply not the case. We're looking for a larger wage increase for a lot of really important reasons, but in exchange for that, we've offered some really valuable concessions in things like health care and work rules to New Jersey Transit. And if the other organizations wanted a similar increase the way we do, they would have to offer the same type of concessions with that similar value. The other thing I should really point out is that when I say that locomotive engineers at New Jersey Transit see about a 20% difference in their pay from those other railroads, the other organizations at New Jersey Transit, the gap in their pay is closer to 3%, which is all we're trying to get to. We're not even trying to be at the same rate as everyone else. We just want to be close. We want to be like all of our other coworkers.
Thomas Haas, the general chairman of the union, said following the end of the strike that while he didn't want to give details about the specific terms of the TA, like wage increases because members are currently voting, he did say, "We do feel it is a significant step up for New Jersey Transit locomotive engineers. A strike was not something we ever wanted to happen, but I'm glad we were able to quickly come to an agreement before it really became a burden on the public more than it was."
We went on strike because we could not reach a deal with New Jersey Transit. They walked away from negotiations. We were seeking what we call parity with the other railroads here in Penn Station, across the platform, Long Island Railroad and Amtrak to make anywhere from $15 to $20 more per hour than we do. So we're just asking that equal pay for equal work, and New Jersey Transit does not seem to want to even negotiate in that direction. They gave us a take it and leave it offer, and so it has currently led to a strike.
Yeah, and I was talking to one of your colleagues who said that it's not even that you guys are asking to be like the highest paid transit workers. You guys would still be the lowest paid transit workers. So you are just asking to be in the ballpark of what other people working similar jobs would be making.
Exactly. And the funny thing is that we could make more, but just by simply leaving and going to Amtrak. But we're not asking to break the bank. We're asking to close the gap a little bit. And what we're asking for would probably cost New Jersey Transit no more than $4 million a year as far as their budget. And they're spending $4 million a day for their contingency plan. So just what they're doing on Monday to run the buses could fund our contract request for an entire year.
So I just want to repeat that because it's crazy. So what New Jersey Transit is spending just to run buses for 1 day while you guys are on strike could fulfill what you guys are asking for in the contract negotiations. So it's an issue of $4 million that could go to workers instead of going to the, as you said, contingency plan that they need to put in place while workers are on strike.
Right. And to top it all off, it's a contingency plan that only covers 20% of what we move as engineers. Not to mention the contingency plan only covers southern Jersey. So west of Jersey are pretty much left on their own without any help from New Jersey Transit. So if you think about it, just for what they're covering in the south, times it by 5, it's 8 million, worth. And we're not asking, 20 million worth, and we're only asking for 4. And that's not even covering the entire state. So the math doesn't add up, and that's what's been happening all along. Their math doesn't match our math, and their numbers are skewed, and we're just asking that they come out with the real numbers, and like I said, parity. Parity is the key. Equal pay for equal work.
Which sounds more than fair to me. And I would say, like every other strike, whenever I've covered these, the issue usually becomes these companies will do anything that they can to just not pay the workers what they're worth. They will pay any amount to avoid paying their own workers, which is extremely, extremely unfortunate and not really a great strategy either.
Exactly. And it's not just the riders who are losing out on this because of New Jersey's unwillingness to negotiate in good faith. And they have the money. The $500 million for a new headquarters that they really didn't have to spend. $53 million to furnish that entire office, and then you're talking about $100,000 somewhere in that ballpark for parking. They could easily come up with the money. It's just their priorities are skewed along with their math numbers. So, they have $500 million for penthouse views, but not enough to pay train crews.
And we are outside of Penn Station. So Raymond, why are you guys on strike today?
Wages. We just want parity with other railroads, and the contract that was offered to us wasn't parity. It was far below the parity line that we would like.
That makes sense. And to the people that I see saying that you guys should just take what you can get, take whatever has been offered because this affects so many commuters, so many people who are trying to get to and from work, what would be your response to those people?
I would just ask them to look at it from our position. We would not have voted at such a high number against the contract if it was a good contract. If it was such a great take-it contract. It's because we did the numbers and we seen that though they say it's parity, they're saying in parity in 5 years of separation. What LIRR is making, they want to pay us in 2027. And that is just something that we are looking at, like, we don't feel like we do a job that's 5 years behind, so we wouldn't like to get paid 5 years behind. That's pretty much it.
Again, that makes sense. And, the decision to go on strike is never taken lightly.
No.
Because this affects your livelihood too.
Absolutely.
It's not just like businesses and commuters that are affected. It is the workers who go on strike because you are not getting paid during this time.
No income. We are not receiving any income. So, for us to vote in such a large number against the contract and rather not work when that's what we want to do. We love our jobs. We want to do a great job. But we see by the offer that New Jersey Transit provided us. And again, all we're saying to them is the offer we're asking for is still going to make us the lowest railroad in the country. We just don't want to be that far behind. We're okay getting close. But that's all we're asking, just get us close. We're not asking to be second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Just get us close.
That's crazy. The idea that even what you guys are asking for just brings you in the ballpark of what other people are making.
Absolutely.
And it's not like you'd have the highest salaries. You're just generally
still
in the
lowest.
same range and still the lowest.
They just want us to be, by the offer they are presented, it will be so far we'll be left behind, and what will happen is what we've seen over the last month, we've seen 8 engineers leave. That is such a rarity that you would have that many engineers leave after gaining 2 years of qualification, you know, busting your behind, passing all these make or break it exams, and then to leave at a moment's notice. It's because of the offer that was given, and they knew they didn't want, and again, we respect their decision, because they didn't want a long drawn out process of strike, you know, and I understand it. We don't want it, but some people gotta be here to make a stand.
That makes sense, and you know, as a working person, all working people should be able to relate to one another and you know, have solidarity with one another. So as a working person, how does this affect you personally? You know, the decision to be on strike right now, how does this affect you and your family?
Well, I'm not going to be paying any bills at the moment, unfortunately, because you know, but with if you want great things, you got to make sacrifices for them. And what we're asking for is not great, but it does border on the line of disrespect, you know, and I don't want to sit there and say they're giving me a raise and calling it disrespectful. But again, what we're asking for, we're not even asking for what other transit engineers make. We're asking for lower than them, and you don't even want to give us that.
So we're just striking for parity with the other railroads. Railroads that do the exact same job that we do, work across the platform with us, and are currently making upwards of $20 more an hour than us.
So also, I guess there's like a visual element to this too. As you said, they work across the platform from you.
I frequently pull into Penn Station and I look across the platform at an engineer at another railroad that's making $20 more an hour than us.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and clearly you guys are doing the exact same job for much lesser pay.
Yes.
And you know, I've spoken with a few of your colleagues, and what you guys are asking for, it doesn't even bring you up to, you know, you would not be the highest paid workers in this field. You would just be in the ballpark of what other people are making.
I think that's really important to understand, for the public to understand. We're not asking to be the highest paid engineers in the country or even in the region. We're just asking for parity. Just put us in the ballpark. That's all we want. This notion that, you know, you're trying to vilify us and call us greedy, that's just not the case. It's not truthful at all. You know, we love what we do. I personally love what I do. And yeah, I don't want to be striking right now. But at the same time, I understand that if that's what it's going to take to bring us to parity, then that's what it's going to take.
Absolutely. And what would you say to viewers of Status Coup who are also workers on, you know, having solidarity with each other, and how you guys being on strike does affect other workers in other industries?
So I think I've been told multiple times today that right now, you know, there's a lot of people that are watching us in this movement, and how important it is to a lot of people. It kind of gives them confidence that, you know, maybe they could bring this to their workplace. And, you know, I say, you know, hell yeah. You know,
While the strike is now over, it is still extremely important that we listen to the voices of the workers who were on strike. Members will be voting on whether to ratify the TA through June 10th.